In a nutshell, from a business standpoint, you're now bringing in better clients who are getting better results, and it's increasing your bottom line even more. And then from the client standpoint, when clients start, especially at Fit Body Bootcamp, like really our niche is weight loss. That's what we focus on. And so now that's what people want when they start with us. Now we have our best program that we have, and we're putting it at the beginning. So when someone gets started, they get to go through our best program and ultimately have some of the best results. Whereas previously, we almost took the opposite approach of like, come in, try us out. And then if you like us, then we'll get started with some workouts. And then, maybe a few months down the line, you'll do one of our challenges where we'll insert nutrition and maybe you'll have really good results then. And clients always did have really good results in our challenges, but that might be 3, 4, 5 months down the road for a client. But a client wants to get the best results right away. So now we've basically flip-flopped that, and now they get their best results right in the beginning. And then ultimately from a business standpoint, now these clients are bought in. They want to stay with you longer to see the even more success at your location.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms. Here's your host, Bryce Henson.
Hey, welcome back, my friends, to another amazing episode of the Fitness CEO Podcast. And before I introduce today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder to give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, write us an amazing review on iTunes. That way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So back in the studio to introduce today's guest is my dear friend, the Executive Director of Marketing for Fit Body Bootcamp, Mr. Joel Kotkas. And today we're going to break down the Ultimate Transformation Program, or the UTP for short, on how to 5X your results and 5X your revenue. Joel Kotkas, welcome to the show. Welcome back, friends. Back in the studio again with my dear friend and Executive Director of Marketing, Joel Kotkas. Welcome back to the studio.
Thanks for having me, Bryce.
All right, here we go live from Chino Hills. Joel's coming in from Calgary, or at least Alberta, Canada. And we're going to talk about the breakdown of the Ultimate Transformation Program, or UTP for short. So I wanted to specifically, shoot an episode with you because you are the mastermind, and you give Jarred, your brother, credit for basically creating 1.0 UTP. So I want to show you some love out there, Jarred, too. But ultimately, I want to do an episode of breakdown of what it is, why it's so valuable, why our franchise partners have had such success with it, including my location, because not only am I the CEO of the brand, but I'm also a Fit Body location owner. And my EFT, my growth, my revenue is the highest it's ever been since 2014, opening location. And I would say the UTP has a huge reason for that. So to tee it up, what is the UTP?
So it's a 12-week program. It's our front end program that we now bring leads into, or new clients at Fit Body Bootcamp. So rather than a quick trial or trying a few workouts, now when someone starts at Fit Body, they do a 12-week program, and it's a transformational program. We're solving their problem. We're giving them everything that they need for that client to experience a transformation. So it's almost the opposite of what we used to do, or the opposite, especially of what a lot of gyms do, where it's like, hey, just come in, just try us out, dip your toes in, see if you like it. We're like, no, you have this problem. We can solve it. Let's get you going right away on a full transformation program.
And I'm going to interject here and kind of ask you the origin story of how the idea came to be. But it's so important because as gym owners, we get so excited about our facility and the equipment and, delivering awesome workouts. But the fact of the matter is most times our clients don't care. Our clients don't care how they look and feel. Of course, it has to look and smell nice and make sure that it's presentable. But we get way more excited about the functionality of our program than our clients do, and for good reason. And I think it's a common oversight that people just want to work out for the sake of working out. No one wants to come in and get tortured for a half an hour, if you will. But what they do want is that they're in pain, they're overweight, they're feeling lethargic, they don't have confidence, and they want a solution to that pain. And that's really what UT brings to the table. So that all said, kind of diving in, where did the idea come from? And I want to talk a little bit about some of the pain points initially, and then your observation working with Jarred last year in 2021 that really brought the UTP 1.0, even though it wasn't called that time, to the table.
Sure. I'll go a little bit back of a brief history.
Please.
So for the first few years of running our Fit Bodies, we ran our 28-day Jumpstart program, and it worked really well. We were able to grow our 3 locations, grow them successfully, and we were having a lot of success. But there were a few things that we always noticed with running that is, yes, we could bring in lots of trials. Yes, we could convert them into clients, but it was like a lot of work. And we wanted to just see if like we could do some stuff a little bit differently. So once COVID hit, we use that as an opportunity to try some things differently. And one thing that we wanted to do was, prior to COVID, we were really operating on volume. So we were just if we wanted to grow as a business, we needed more people. We needed more bodies, more. And we realized like there were issues with operating on volume alone. It's not sustainable. It's a lot of work for your team. You can't service all those people. Would you rather service 1,000 clients or would you rather service 100 clients? If you could make the same revenue, you'd probably rather service 100 clients. And so when COVID started and we knew that, okay, when we start to rebuild again, we want to do it with less people. We want to provide a better service to our clients, so not have as many people come in, but obviously we still wanted to grow our revenue and we still needed to build back.
And from your lens, I'm curious, was that your observation? Was that Jarred's observation? Was there kind of a disagreement, or are you both kind of aligned from what you've seen in the direction you want to go?
Yeah, we were both on the same page. Our whole team was on the same page because right before like February 2020, we had to run a huge promo, a big challenge. I remember in one location, we had 220 trials at one time. And it was just, we couldn't even manage
chaos.
It was chaos. We couldn't deliver a good experience. And I remember that was like one of the last straws that broke the camel's back for us. It was just like, this is too much.
And the reason that's so important, when you're probably hearing this, especially if you don't have a gym yet and you're a soon-to-be Fit Body Bootcamp owner, you're thinking 200 trials, that's awesome. Yeah, you want 200 members who know the program, who are like indoctrinating the program, but to bring in 200 people at once that really have no idea how to, your program runs, that's very, very challenging operationally for your team.
Yeah, and if you have a team of 4, 5, or 6, like how do you give a world-class experience to 200 people? You don't. And so we are like, okay, when we're going to rebuild, we're going to have less people. We're going to service them better. So what we did was like, well, let's charge more for our 28-day program because now we'll have less people do it. They'll pay more. They'll be more bought in. We can provide a better service. So that was the first iteration that we did, was we doubled the price of our 28-day program. But then what we started to realize was we couldn't rely on the sales pages as much as we used to. We used to just send people to a sales page. Here's our 28-day program. It's $47. Lots of people would buy it. But now if we were charging $147, or sometimes we even tried $197, that sales page wasn't as successful. So we're like, hey, I think we need to start talking with people and getting them on the phone and seeing if our program's a good fit. And then if it is, we'll sell them our 28-day program for $150 or $200. So that's how we started to do. We started to remove the sales pages and insert people to help with the lead follow-up and converting these people into clients. And that was going really, really well. And we started to have success. So we'd kind of solved two problems. Number one, we were now able to bring in more money from less people and give them a better result, and they were getting better results. And then we were able to tweak our sales funnel by removing all the automation in the sales pages and now relying on humans to do a better job. So then what we started to figure out was, well, what are some of the other problems we could have? And the next biggest problem that we wanted to solve was, with our 28-day program, we were always selling twice, especially right in the beginning. Like we were selling them into 28 days, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, now we're trying to sell them again to become a full-time client. It's just kind of annoying. It's
laborious.
Like, we're just selling all the time. And so we thought, well, what if we sold a longer duration program at the beginning? So, because at FitBody, we always, when a client starts, they start on a 12-week commitment. That's kind of our brand standard. So we were like, well, what if we could just sell that 12-week commitment right out of the gates rather than having to sell them into that after they do their trial? So that's what we did. So we basically created a 12-week program that we'd sell them into instead of just our 28-day program. But obviously when we did that, we wanted to service them more. We wanted to give them better results. So we turned that 28-day trial program into now a transformation program where they were getting workouts, they were getting nutrition, they were getting accountability, they were getting coaching, they were getting the full package for those 12 weeks. And they were really experiencing a transformation. And that's ultimately how our ultimate transformation program was born, was just sort of that stepladder approach to solving a solution to the problems that we had, but then on the back end realizing how much more successful it was for us as owners, but more importantly for the clients, because now they're getting a result. They're not just coming in and trying something and then taking them a while to see results. They're getting results right out of the gate.
And that was, a backstory, but like kind of led us up to post-COVID 2021 summertime is when you basically started the program.
Yeah, June 2021.
Okay. And then, about how long did it take before you started seeing, traction, realizing, oh, this actually has some legs to it?
From a business side, it was almost instantaneous.
Okay.
Within we'd started running ads, I remember in June, and we were making sales right away, and we were converting at a high percentage. We were charging a lot more for this 12-week transformation program than we were for a 28-day program. And we were actually amazed on the success that we were having, both on all the people that were putting their hand in the air saying, I'm interested in this thing, us getting them on the phone and converting them into clients, and the amount of revenue we could bring in from it. So from a business standpoint, we saw success within weeks. And then on the back end, obviously it took a little while for clients to go through the program, but we're starting to see they're having more success with the program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to kind of walk us through the following few months. You and Jarred and your awesome team, kind of dialed that in. But one of the things I love about you, Joel, is you remove your ego, right? And it would have been very easy for you and Jarred to beat on your high horse and say, like, okay, we created the best program ever, which you certainly laid the foundation. You certainly did. But really, when we're working together and you reach out to me with a bigger vision of how we can spread the brand, you came into me with like, hey, Bryce, I think I can add a lot of value here, just in marketing principles in general, especially from a brand direction, but also too, I've stumbled upon and created this, 1.0 UTP, which wasn't called at that time. And I really think it has legs and that we can even probably make it better.
Yeah.
And, I love that humility because, to your point, you and Jarred locked yourself in the room with your team who was able to create this program. But your thought was, well, if we actually bring this to the table with our coaching and profitability team, which last year in 2021, we executed our first CAP retreat. We basically we rented an Airbnb in San Antonio. Both you and Tyler, who's our franchise business coach or CAP coach in Canada, couldn't make it because of the travel restrictions. So you and Tyler are just absolute incredible dudes to be able to kind of like execute that in Zoom the whole week. But really what we did is we took the foundation that you laid and then we even reverse engineered it even further, and actually off that foundation, what really came UTP 2.0.
Yeah,
so
we made it a better program.
We made it a better program.
Yeah.
So
and we can still make it a better program.
Totally. What were the big innovations for you seeing 1.0 versus 2.0?
Simplicity. Definitely in the beginning, our 1.0 version that my brother and I created was way more complex than what we created as a CAP team. And I think that's the step that we can probably take again. Is like, okay, this is working, but now that we've had thousands of people go through the program, hundreds of owners run it, we can start to be like, okay, how can we make this even better? How can we make it more simple and get even better results for our clients? But that was definitely the biggest iteration from that first version to the second version was simplicity.
And then from the second version, after we increased simplicity, then our coaching and profitability team basically through Q1 of last year basically tested a few different offers, a few different guarantees, which we'll get into. And then we came to the conclusion this has legs not only in Alberta and Calgary, Canada, but also across the globe, and definitely through North America. So suffice to say then in May of this past year in 2022 at our annual World Conference event, we basically launched this brand wide, and we've had hundreds of owners basically take advantage of this, and to your point, thousands of clients join the program. So from your perspective, why is the program so successful? And then really I want to talk about the offer and then specifically the guarantee behind that.
Mm-hmm. Twofold. I'll talk about why it's successful for owners, but then why it's successful for clients. So I think from an owner standpoint, it's kind of a lot of what we've already talked about. It solves a lot of those pain points from a business standpoint, where you now get to bring in people that are more bought in because they're taking part in this bigger program. You're usually charging more for that. So they're more bought in. There's more on the table for them. They're more committed.
And I'm going to interject here, and this is so true that Bedros, who is the founder of Fit Body Bootcamp, told me a long time ago, people who pay attention. And when you don't, offer a financial exchange for something that's free, you don't really take that, seriously from a human nature perspective. So when you exchange energy, which is really what currency or money is, you pay attention more. And I think that's a huge foundational reason to your point on why people are paying attention.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, from a business standpoint, you're now bringing in better clients who are getting better results, and it's increasing your bottom line even more. And then from the client standpoint, they get to now do it. Like when clients start, especially at Fit Body Bootcamp, like really our niche is weight loss. That's what we focus on. And so now that's what people want when they start with us. Now we have our best program that we have, and we're putting it at the beginning. So when someone gets started, they get to go through our best program and ultimately have some of the best results. Whereas previously, we almost took the opposite approach of like, come in, try us out, and then if you like us, then we'll get started with some workouts. And then, maybe a few months down the line, you'll do one of our challenges where we'll insert nutrition and maybe you'll have really good results then. And clients always did have really good results in our challenges, but that might be 3, 4, 5 months down the road for a client. But a client wants to get the best results right away. So now we've basically flip-flopped that, and now they get their best results right in the beginning. And then ultimately, from a business standpoint, now these clients are bought in. They want to stay with you longer to see the even more success at your location.
Yeah, amen to that. All right, so that's the foundation for why it's successful, both from a franchise partner perspective, but also from a client perspective, which in business, it always has to be a win-win. And this is why I love about this particular program. Now I want to talk about, the catchiness, the offer to it, which is a huge component that if you're watching this video, I'd highly encourage you to go back to the other video that we shot, the episode talking about the top 10 mistakes in direct marketing, direct response marketing. I mean, one of them is not having a strong enough offer. So from that perspective, what is the offer? And then ultimately, a huge part of that offer is the guarantee as well. So can you talk that through?
Yeah. So when you think of, sometimes I think when people think of offer, they almost get that confused with like promotion. So the offer isn't just like it's like, hey, I come try us out for a free week, or I have this thing for $14. Sometimes people associate that with the offer. You have to think of your offer as like your full program. So it's what are you offering to that client to give them the result that they want. So us, it's this 12-week transformation program. So that's the one thing that just naturally makes the offer strong, is because we have a solution. Clients want to come in and they want to experience weight loss results. Our offer is a 12-week transformation program, and we get to deliver the results that the client's looking for. Whereas previously, when our offer was 28 days, or if our offer is 1 free week, we're not solving the client's problem. It's something cool to get them started, but everyone wants a solution to their problem.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times when people start running their UTP ads, they're getting more leads, even though they're not offering a free thing or a cheap thing, but they're getting more people say, I'm interested, because they want to do something that solves their problem. And so that's the biggest thing that makes this offer really, really strong. And then to make it even better, what we do is strap a guarantee on the end that if a client doesn't lose 15 pounds through the 12 weeks, they can keep training for free with us until they do. So now the client knows it's like a win-win for them. They're basically guaranteed to hit their goal eventually. It's just whether they're going to pay for it or whether it ultimately becomes free for them with the program.
And that's so important, especially in probably most markets, right? You're probably not the only act in town. For us specifically in the service business, but also the weight loss, industry and really focal point. This is not the first rodeo for Mrs. Jones. She's probably tried pills and potions and gadgets and other programs before. So there's a healthy amount of skepticism, which partly could be, accurate. And I also think that's how we're wired as human nature, and it's kept us, evolving over time. But when you're able to provide that guarantee, you remove that concern, you remove that skepticism, and you really open up people's appetite to actually, be open to the opportunity and take action.
Yeah, and it works really well from a franchise partner lens, because we really leverage it in that marketing our offer, is because it allows leads to be like, hey, I'm interested in that, and that makes me feel more comfortable. So I'm going to at least explore what this thing is. And so it allows you to get more leads and then ultimately have those conversations with those leads to see if the program's the best fit.
What's up, my friend? Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the CEO of FitBody. But what many people don't know is that I actually began my journey as a FitBody franchise owner. Now, being an owner, I wake up every day absolutely doing what I love. I live my passion. I help people transform their lives and have both financial and personal freedom. And it's for these reasons and many more that other owners join the brand and open their own FitBody locations too. So if you're looking to build a highly profitable business, take charge of your life, and create an impact in your very own community, then opening a FitBody gym might be a perfect fit for you. Now, to see if a territory is available in your area, as we have very limited spots due to our incredible growth, go ahead and visit our website at fbbcfranchise.com to complete an application. Well, thanks, and back to the show.
I want to play the devil's advocate a little bit in the sense of, concerns from not just, our franchise partners, but just owners in general in the gym space, especially when you're putting your you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into the program, and then realize, holy smokes, someone might actually train for free if we don't get them the result. And especially when we launched this to our franchise partners, we definitely had some of that concern. In fact, one of our new owners that just joined us for dinner on the on-site experience on Sunday was like, Bryce, the program sounds awesome. I was going through the modules on the academy, but I'm just scared. I put all this energy into the program, and then all of a sudden the client doesn't do the work, and then we have to train them for free. I don't want to, go upside down because I'm making these ridiculous offers. So what do you say to that owner, that person?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, there's obviously compliance that client has to take. They can't just sign up for your program, never come in and do a workout, not follow their nutrition plan, and then expect to keep going for free. So obviously you have to set stipulations in place like, hey, we'll guarantee results, but you have to, come to 3 workouts per week, and you have to follow the nutrition plan, and you have to do your habits and get in your water, and you have to do these things. And if you do all of those things and you don't have success, then we'll train you for free. And I think a few things to consider is if clients do the things that they're supposed to, they're either going to hit their goal, exceed it, or become really darn close. And it's human nature that even if they come really darn close, people are happy. So if they're doing those things and they feel great and they're loving your program and they come to the end and they've lost 12 pounds, chances of that person coming to you and wanting to train for free are actually really, really low because they're happy with the success and the progress that they're making. Maybe they've struggled in the past. Maybe this is the best success they've ever had and they're really satisfied. So we've now put over 1,000 people through the Ultimate Transformation Program. I think we've had to uphold the guarantee 2 times out of those over 1,000 people. So it's just not something that you have to worry about. And I don't say that because it's like a shady thing. Oh, you don't have to worry about it. It's that the program's good enough to deliver the results so clients see the results. And even if they don't and they do the program, they're really happy. And then on the other end of the spectrum, some people, you're going to have those clients that just don't follow through. They don't follow the program. And people know that too. So they don't ask for their money back when they don't follow the program.
Totally. And human nature, I mean, certainly can be, wily at certain periods of time, but when you do a good job of explaining the program in the front end, being above board, especially all the assets and the resource that we provide our franchise partners, they can deliver to their clientele. It's such a structured program that it's really hard to refute, especially if they haven't done the work as well.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my wife, Tatiana. We just basically had an incredible transformation. One of our clients lost 25 pounds within that weight, or within that, the Ultimate Transformation Program, completely changed their life. Raving fans. It brought in a handful of clients, and that's also an incredible aspect of the program because when people when people get results, they stay, they pay, and they refer. So I have a few more questions around this. Walk us through what the weekly missions and checkpoints, because one of the big aspects of the program, to your point, is making sure that the compliance is there. So they get a check-in every week. They sit down with their coach every fourth week. So what does that look like, and why do we build those checkpoints in from a value perspective?
So obviously we have the checkpoints every 4 weeks to really sit down with the coach to provide value, to see how the client's doing, make any adjustments that's needed for those 12 weeks. And then in between those, we have weekly missions that we want the client to accomplish. One thing that obviously at our foundation at FitBody, especially with nutrition, the number one most important thing is sustainability. And so what we don't want to happen is clients come in, they do this program for 12 weeks, they lose 25 pounds, and then after that, they quit, they walk back out the door, they go back to their old habits and the weight comes back, which is sadly, it's so common, in the world that we live in. So sustainability being our number one most important pillar when it comes to nutrition, what we want to do is we want to teach people what is sustainable nutrition and how do you approach it. And we have our FitBody nutrition app and we have our protocols for doing that, and it takes longer than 12 weeks. But what we noticed was if you put someone right on our FitBody nutrition app, or if you were to take any tracking app, for example, or anything like that, if you just gave them a program to follow, the chances of them having success is a lot less.
Correct.
But if you take the time to build the habits and nurture them and teach them how to do the things that you want, the chances of them having more success goes through the roof. So we know that after the 12 weeks, we want to put them on our FitBody nutrition app because it's the most sustainable. It's the long-term solution for their goal. That's the result that we want. So during those 12 weeks, we teach them how to use the app so that when they come out of the 12 weeks, they know how to use it and they can be successful rather than just throwing them in with the sharks at the end and being like, hey, we've got this awesome app. Here you go, start using it. They'll fail if they do that. So if we can slowly teach them and educate them on how to use it with these weekly missions, they have more success.
All right. To kind of put a bow on this, from your perspective, and also playing a little bit of devil's advocate so we can see both aspects, what would you say for the average, gym owner would be the biggest challenge in executing this? And then on the flip side, what is the biggest opportunity or results that you've seen, not only from your locations, but also to brand wide as we launched this, early 2021?
I would say the biggest challenge for most franchise partners or any gym owner that wants to maybe go from like a really trial-based model to more of like a higher end, higher ticket program model is the sales. And that's the biggest shift that you have to make, because now you have to really insert the human element to follow up with your leads, to get them on the phone, to have a real conversation, and then to sell them into your program. And hopefully you're charging $500, $600, $1,000 for a program like this. And so I would say that's the biggest shift that a lot of franchise partners have to make, is just, what does your follow-up and your sales system look like? Luckily, we have it all dialed that we've built out for them. So it's turnkey, but that's definitely the biggest shift that I've seen for most owners.
And the flip side, what's the biggest value? We've talked about it, in a lot of different components from this conversation already, but just to put a bone up from your lens, 30,000 foot view, not only your experience, but also to brand wide. What's the biggest value point for executing the UTP?
I think you get the ability to grow as a business in the, I don't want to say easiest way possible, but it's a lot more simple and a lot less headaches than focusing on like what we did of just like volume, a cheap trial based. That works, but it's a lot of people. It takes a lot of effort, and clients aren't getting that good results. But now if you execute a program like this, you're bringing in a lot more revenue. It's helping you grow from a business standpoint, and your clients are getting better results. So it's really a win-win.
Totally. And I can certainly acknowledge that. And for me, kind of put a bow on it from my lens, I think the biggest value, especially for our franchise partners, is, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And I'm a firm believer that a rising tide raises all ships. I would never have the intellect, the vision to execute something like this. But a guy like you and Jarred, who can bring this table, create a 1.0, and then also have the humility to say, hey, listen, we can continue to make this better. That is the value from a franchise system, that we can deliver this program through a combined experience of over 100 years within the fitness industry of our coaching and profitability team who've constructed this. And now our franchise partners can basically take all that work, begin to execute, and grow their income and their impact. So for me, that's the big takeaway.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, friends. Well, that's all I got. Anything else to share about the UTP before we sign off for today?
If you're not running it as a franchise partner, get on it, because it'll change the game.
Let's go. That is your parting piece of wisdom. So my friends, I know you got a ton of value. Assuming you did, give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, write us an amazing review, and drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. We love to engage. Joel, my friend, appreciate having you on.
Thanks, sir.
And my friends, we'll see you in the next episode.